Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so nice to see everybody here this evening. Oziva Zimrat Yavayahili Lishua, I sing to God because God is my strength and my salvation. And that is exactly what we are going to be doing tonight on this Shabbat Shirah. We will each be singing out to God in our own way with our own music, as we celebrate the profound moment of our people, our crossing through the Red Sea to freedom from oppression to absolute personal expression. I am so excited to be joined by my clergy colleagues, all of us in one place, sort of, at the same time. It's very, very exciting this evening with Rabbi Black and Rabbi Hyatt and Steve Brodsky. And tonight, in addition to everything that I just said, we are also going to be remembering and celebrating the legacy of an amazing woman named Debbie Friedman. Many of you know this name from the slides that we have been sharing for the last number of months. Oh, what a beautiful picture of her. It's a great one. This is Debbie's 10th yahrzeit, and it is one of those just tremendous moments in the world that while she passed too soon, she passed away on Shabbat Shirah. And Debbie was a tremendous composer of Jewish music. She was a prophet who left us way before her time. And so tonight we are going to be celebrating all of the things that she brought with her spirit, with her music, and with her sincere dedication to the Jewish people. So, Steve, we are going to start with something special for candle lighting in honor of what I just said.
We are. Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel
Shabbat sings to us as she approaches an ancient song of joy and desire, a quiet song of hope and anticipation. Yes, Shabbat sings as she arrives, her scarves dancing around her in the gentle breeze. Together, Shabbat sings to us. When she arrives, a sweet song of love and reunion, a simple song of laughter and surrender. Yes, Shabbat sings with us, joyful, exuberant, as we dance together in the glow of sunset. It is good to give thanks to God.
Come, let us sing a song of Shabbat. Come, let us sing a song of Shabbat. Let's all sing that. Come, let us sing a song of Shabbat. Come, let us sing a song of Shabbat. Mizmor shir b'yom haShabbat. Mizmor shir b'yom haShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'zamer l'shimcha. Tov lehodot l'Adonai u'zamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir b'yom haShabbat. Mizmor shir b'yom haShabbat. It's good to give thanks, to give praise, and sing songs to your name, Holy One. It's good to give thanks, to give praise, and sing songs to your name, Holy One. Mizmor shir b'yom haShabbat. Shabbat. Come, let us sing a song of Shabbat. Come, let us sing a song of Shabbat.
It has been said that Shabbat is responsible for keeping us together as a people. And the words of Lecha Dodi talk about the importance of our relationship with Shabbat, about how it goes beyond something we appreciate, beyond something we anticipate. But Shabbat is something that we as a people deeply love and need. And when we sing this song, when we sing this prayer, when we chant these words, what we're really doing is using the beautiful melody, the song, the sounds of song of Lecha Dodi to ask God for Shabbat, to ask God to continue to bring Shabbat into our lives every week. And so we do so again this week, using song to bring ourselves the words of appreciation for Shabbat.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Let's all sing together. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamu זכור וזכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי היא מקור הברכה וראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה בני שבת נקבלה. According to our tradition, we rise at this moment and face the entrance to our worship space this evening to welcome the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam b'simcha ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה לך דודי לקראת כלה
And we remain standing physically or spiritually as we call each other to prayer, as we call God into this space so that we can pray together with the Baruch.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai. Yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai.
This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
So it was the summer of 1970, and I was an 11-year-old camper at Olin Sang Ruby Union Institute in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Kind of scared, not sure to be there. It was my first summer at camp. And there was this song leader at camp who had written all this incredible music, and her name was Debbie Friedman, and she had just come out with an album of original Jewish music. And she sang it for all of us at this camp, and we actually had a huge assembly where each different unit of the camp sang a different song. And hearing Debbie's music for the first time at such a young age literally changed my life. Were it not for Debbie Friedman and her music, I don't think I'd be here right now. I don't think I'd be a rabbi. I don't think I would be a musician. She had such a profound impact on my life. And until she died, she was a dear friend, a colleague, a mentor, a co-performer, and I feel so blessed to have known her. So we're going to sing this, probably one of her most beautiful pieces, Ahavat Olam. Debbie had a way of making prayer into a love song. She took the words and made them her own. Ahavat Olam Be'Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadta Otanu limadta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu v'shorbeinu U'komenu nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei toratecha U'b'mitzvotecha le'olam v'ahem Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla V'ahavat chal tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael ohev amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael. Hear, O Israel. This prayer that we say, that we know from the moment we are small, this prayer is the epitome of what it means to listen, and to absorb music and sound and community. And we thought that this evening, as lovely as it is for one of us to sing the Shema with all of you, that we would take this opportunity for all of us to sing the Shema with you, which is not something that we can do in our live configuration. And so we share with you right now a meditation before the Shema, as well as the Shema itself in a video that shares all of our voices together.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes. Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one, and we will know that you are one. Shema, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad. Shema, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad. Baruch, Baruch, Shem Kevod, Malchuto, Le'olam, Le'olam, Le'olam va'ed, Le'olam va'ed. Shema, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad, Adonai Echad. I also had the great honor and privilege to know Debbie over the years. In a lot of different configurations. I first met her at a CAGE conference, a conference on alternatives in Jewish education. And I was in my mid-20s and was off to the side of the stage playing guitar along with her and lots of other people. And I caught her eye, or she caught my eye, and she was like, "Come on up here." Of course, I was scared to death, but I came on stage and sang with her, which was a thrill of a lifetime. And my first summer at Jewish camp was in 1973, just before my bar mitzvah. And I started to play the guitar that summer. That's when I picked up the guitar. I saw the song leaders doing their thing, and I was so inspired. I said, I want to do that. And this was one of the first songs that I ever learned to play on the guitar. We haven't done this in quite a long time, but for many of you, it will be very, very familiar. This was one of the first songs that Debbie wrote, actually, one of the first Jewish songs. She opened the prayer book, at the time the old little blue Union prayer book, and found these words of the Ve'ahavta. And when she first wrote it, it was written, "And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might." Over the years, those words have evolved a little bit to be more inclusive, less gender specific. You shall love. And you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you on this day shall be in your heart, shall be in your heart, and you shall teach them diligently unto your children, and you shall speak of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the way, and when you're lying down, and when you're rising up, and when you're rising up, and you shall bind them as a sign upon your hand, and they shall be for frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates, and upon your gates, that you may remember and do all of my commandments, and be holy unto your God, unto your God, unto your God.
So here we are. We have arrived at the moment in our service every week where we celebrate the Song at the Sea. So tonight we're going to do things a little bit differently. In order to highlight the immense emotional connection between the Micha Mocha, which comes from the Song at the Sea, which is the Torah portion that we're reading this week, we are going to bring the two together. We are going to get ourselves really excited for Michamocha in just a minute. And then we are going to seamlessly move right into our Torah reading so that we can celebrate the amazing journey of freedom all at the same time. And remember that in reality, this Michamocha, this prayer that we say every day, is actually a hyperlink to the experience in the Torah. So I hear that there is a slide of the Michamocha in the Torah. So if we want to take a quick look at that, there it is. It's so beautiful. So this Michamocha that we sing and dance and jump around to is actually leading us right to this moment in the Torah every single week. And if you look right in the middle, literally in the middle of the slide, which might be tough, there's a giant mem. It's really, really long. And then right underneath it, you will see Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, God. Rabbi Black.
So many memories of Debbie from camp. I met Steve Brodsky probably at the same Cage conference that he met Debbie. And I just have these images of when I'm going to say the word perform, but she really wasn't a performer in the sense that she was the ultimate song leader, because when Debbie Friedman sang, everyone had no choice but to sing with her. She was actually, she would say things like, "When you sing, I feel all the hairs on the back of my neck standing up." And if we didn't sing, she would yell at us until we did. She was a combination of joy, of love. She was a song leader. She was a cheerleader. She was a teacher. She made Jewish music come alive. So sing with us as we sing her Michamocha.
משה ומרים, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, זה אלי ענו ואמרו. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Join with me.
And as we had the opportunity a moment ago to see what Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, looks like in our Torah text, it's so cool to be at this part of the Torah. And because of that, we're actually doing our service a little bit out of the order that we usually do. Usually, we come to this part of the Michamocha, right? Those words that we sing about making it across the sea to freedom. And then we carry on with our service. And then in a few minutes, we read from the Torah. Tonight, we're pausing right here at the Song of the Sea when we sing that as a prayer, but also when we come to our Torah reading. We're going to do it right now. When we sing the Michamocha in our service, we are going to have our Torah service in this moment, because how cool that we can at this time. That crossing of the sea, that singing at the other side was a big deal for our people. And so with that, it is my great honor to introduce for our Torah service this evening, the Kamensky family, Marnie, Zachary, and Matthew. Zach is celebrating becoming a bar mitzvah tomorrow morning, and so his family is going to say the blessing before and after the Torah reading for us today. And for our Torah reading, the wonderful Lisa Velick is going to read Shirat Hayam for us. We're so grateful because it's such a pleasure to hear her do that. So with that, the Kamensky family for our blessings.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Az Yashir Moshe Uvnei Yisrael et Hashira Hazot Ladonai Vayamru Lemor Ashira Ladonai Ki Gaoga Susferoch Vo Rama Vayam O Zivra Zimratia Vayhili Lishua Ze'eli ve'on vehu Elohei aviva ramemenu Adonai ish melchama Adonai shemo Markevo paro Vechelo yarav vayam Umivhar shalishav tu be'u ve'am suf Techamot yikasimu Yarduvim solot kemo aven Yamin Hadonai nedari bakoch Yamin Hadonai tirat soyev Uvro ge'oncha tacharos kamecha Teshalach charoncha yochlemo kakash Uvruach apecha neramu mayim nitzvu chemoned nozlim kafu techamot belev yam Amar oyev erdofasi gachalek shalal timlaemo nafshi ari charbi tori shemo yadi Nashafta v'ruchacha kisamo yam Salalu ka'oferet b'mayim adirim Micha mocha bailim Adonai Micha mocha nedar ba'kodesh Nora tehilot osefele.
Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Eternal. They said, I will sing to the Eternal, for Adonai has triumphed gloriously. Horse and driver Adonai has hurled into the sea. The Eternal is my strength and might. Adonai is become my deliverance. This is my God, and I will enshrine Adonai, the God of my ancestors, and I will exalt Adonai. The Eternal, the warrior, Eternal One is Adonai's name. Pharaoh's chariots and his army Adonai has cast into the sea, and the pick of his officers are drowned in the sea of reeds. The deeps covered them. They went down into the depths like a stone. Your right hand, Eternal One, glorious in power. Your right hand, Eternal One, shatters the foe. In your great triumph, you break your opponents. You send forth your fury. It consumes them like straw. At the blast of your nostrils, the waters piled up. The floods stood straight like a wall. The deeps froze in the heart of the sea. The foe said, I will pursue. I will overtake. I will divide the spoil. My desire shall have its fill of them. I will bear my sword. My hand shall subdue them. You made your wind blow. The sea covered them. They sank like lead in the majestic waters. Who is like you, Eternal One, among the celestials? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. And thank you to the Komenskys and to Lisa. What a beautiful job of chanting this very special piece of Torah. Debbie was groundbreaking in many, many ways, as we know. But one of the ways that that Debbie really created a new path was for women in the field of Jewish music and in Jewish life in general. Debbie was an avowed feminist, and Debbie was brought women to the forefront. Not only, did she break a lot of ceilings in terms of being one of the first women to write and perform Jewish music in the synagogue, to often the great consternation of male rabbis and cantors at the time. But she also did an amazing job of bringing women's stories to life through her music. And this next piece that we're going to do is one of those examples. We didn't go quite far enough in the Shirat Hayam, the Song of the Sea, but shortly after that, the Torah tells us that Miriam led the women in song with great rejoicing after reaching freedom on the far side of the sea. And Debbie wrote this amazing song, which has been one of our favorites for a long time. It was part of our Shabbat Unplugged forever and ever when we used to do Shabbat Unplugged live. And it's about Miriam, the prophet, and how she led the people in song upon reaching the shores of the sea. So I want everybody to sing along, to dance, to clap, sing out with great joy, as Debbie always did. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. Let's do that one more time so everybody can get warmed up. Here we go. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she crafted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances toward the light. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. When Miriam stood upon the shore and gazed across the sea, the wonder of this miracle she soon came to believe. Whoever thought the sea would part with an outstretched hand, and we would pass to freedom and march to the promised land. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole night long. And Miriam the prophet took her timbrel in her hand, and all the people followed her just as she had planned. And Miriam raised her voice in song, she sang with praise and might. We've just lived through a miracle, we're going to dance tonight. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced the whole the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. One more time. And the women dancing with their timbrels followed Miriam as she sang her song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women danced and danced all night long. Whew. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. We're going to move into our tefillah. So, quiet now. Listen. Breathe and listen. You are music. Your breath and hands, your smile and tears, your eyes and pulse are notes that dance in the space between us. We are music. A symphony conducted by the rhythm of life, by God's hand, by our choices day by day. Our notes play on, separately, together, the sacred sound of living. Our music waltzes, making melodies fresh and new, never heard again, bass lines that pulse from our hearts to the soul of the universe. Joy bends sorrow. Sorrow bends hope. Hope bends grief. Grief bends love. Love bends joy. The silence is your longing. The silence is your yearning for a different song. The music of your own will blocks your heart to the harmonies already dancing around you, to the chorus already singing around you. O you hidden delight of heaven, O you secret gift of God, we are music. We are music. The music plays through us. Quiet now. Listen, breathe, and listen.
Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chased חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מחלקל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך ממיר ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
As we have heard, Debbie was a pioneer on many, many fronts. Absolutely, she was a pioneer in the women's movement, but what a lot of people gloss over, and I think it's important to say that she also was a pioneer in the LGBTQ movement. As an open lesbian woman, she truly became a powerful role model for many people who for too long had been excluded from the Jewish community and from the synagogue world. And Debbie said, no, this is who I am. This is the way the world is. Debbie also started a revolution in not only the Reform movement, but truly throughout even in Orthodox communities, in that she brought back the Mishaberach, the prayer for healing, as an essential part of what it means for us to worship. And Rabbi Larry Hoffman, who is one of the great scholars of Jewish liturgical history, has written that Debbie Friedman's Mishaberach literally transformed a huge swath of Reformed Jewish worship. Because to say that we pray to God for healing, that we ourselves are fragile, Debbie was fragile. There were many times when she was not feeling well, when she felt that she couldn't perform. And I remember, Steve, you've told me stories about how you've actually had to carry her up on the stage at times. There were times when Debbie would perform and she'd be in a wheelchair, but then she would get up on the stage and something would happen. And she would be transfixed and transformed, and everyone there. And she used to sing the Mishaberach, and she said she'd sing it 3 times. Once for her, just to listen to it. And then once so it could wash over everyone. And then once for the world. You'll notice that when I always play the Mishaberach, I always end with 3 chords like this. And I do that as an honor to Debbie. I haven't told anybody that, but that's the reason I play it that way. So we're going to join together in this beautiful prayer that really has changed our lives and the lives of many. I'm going to be reading a list of names, and if there are other names that are not on this list, say them out loud, say them silently, so all of us might ask for God's healing blessing on their behalf. Pray together. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat, we are mindful of Zachary Hoffman, David Karner, David Lustig, Jeff Cohn, David Goldenberg, Stuart Myers, Catherine Plus, Gene Silber, Scott Grant, Scott Englander, Stacy Hoffman, George Kadish, Ira Clare, Kristen Myers, Corey Franklin, Shanti Khazan, Robert Tucker, Jenny Brynan, Lynn Pollitt, Lynn McLaughlin Cromar, Cindy Freeland, Howard Rosenberg, Leonard Streer, Deborah Elena Koff, Bobby Fuhrer, Alex Buznovetsky, Luke Harsh, Leah Lasky, Michael Altenberg, David Belcher, and Robin Belcher. And if there are other names, write them in. Say them out loud through your prayers, through your tears. So all of us, as a Kehillah Kedosha, as a sacred community, might ask for God's healing on their behalf. We pray together. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekor harefuah. We praise you, Adonai, the source of healing. Mi shebera imotenu Mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. We take a moment now for silent prayer.
Oseh shalom bimroma. Oseh shalom bimroma. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. We've already talked about how Debbie inspired so many people to be song leaders, cantors, rabbis, worship leaders, Rabbi Black and myself among them. There are hundreds of Jewish composers, songwriters, song leaders out there in the world today who owe a great debt of gratitude to Debbie for helping them to find their voice. We are always looking for new voices, new music to include in our worship. This is just one example, this beautiful melody for Oseh Shalom by our friend Ilana Jagoda, who definitely was one of the many disciples of Debbie. Sing with me. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oseh Shalom Bimroma, Oseh Shalom Bimroma.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So here we are. It is Shabbat Shirah, our Shabbat of song. And we celebrate our freedom. We celebrate our liberation. Now, our liberation, the story of the Exodus from Egypt, is a story that is bookended by sound to God. In Exodus 2:23, where we start the beginning of the end of the Exodus story, the Torah teaches us, Vayehi bayamim harabim hahem vayamot melech Mitzrayim, a new king arose, vaye'anchu v'nei Yisrael min ha'avodah, and the Israelites groaned from their work, and they shouted, and God heard their cries. God heard the moaning and the sadness, and that begins the story of Moses saving his people. This week, in Exodus 15:1, at the end of the story, when we finally cross through the Red Sea and leave Egypt behind us, we read, Az yashir Moshe v'nei Yisrael et hashirah hazot l'Adonai vayomru lemor. Moses and the children of Israel sang to God in celebration of their newfound freedom and in relief from years of oppression. Both verses describe highly emotional moments where we use sound, where we make noise because we feel uncontrollably. And both verses emphasize the collective nature of their moment. The children of Israel cry out together in pain at the beginning of their story, and this week, Moses and the children of Israel sing the same song all together. But this week, we have a little bit of a problem. Immediately after the dramatic buildup to this ultimate song, this expression of collective redemption, our text continues. Ashira ladonai, ki ga'o ga'a. I will sing to the Eternal, for Adonai has triumphed gloriously. And it goes on, the Eternal is my song and my strength, Adonai is my deliverance. So, the Song of the Sea is in first person. We, collectively, are singing I and my, not we and our. The Israelites are singing at once individually and collectively. At once, they are singing alone and together. The medium of music allows each individual Israelite to sing the song of their own emotion and their own experience at that moment, while also seamlessly weaving each individual's expression into a collective wave of sound. And perhaps some sang it loud, and perhaps some sang it softly, and some sang it proud, and some sang with gentle gratitude. The music, the song, allowed them to all connect in that moment, to be alone in expression, but together in spirit. Now, I might imagine that for many of us, this past year has come with its own highly emotional moments. Like the Israelites, I might imagine that some of us have cried out in despair, have felt that nothing but noise could express the depth of our frustration, our sadness, our anger, and our fear. But unlike the Israelites, we have not had the benefit of being a collective in person. The power of making sound together, of singing together, has especially been absent in this moment in time when many of us are mostly alone. And yet I have found in these months that even in solitude, the magic of music has made me feel connected to others, and particularly connected to you, our congregation. Just as the Israelites sang their own first-person version of the Song of the Sea, I too am constantly singing on my own this year, as I'm sure are many of you. But I also know and imagine and feel that when I'm singing alone, I'm singing with you. The music makes me remember the collective. Now, neurologists and music therapists remind us constantly the powerful effect that music has on our brains. The neurologist Oliver Sacks, sadly no relation, in his book, Musicophilia, Tales of Music and the Brain, and if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it, Dr. Sacks teaches us that the act of singing is immensely important. It can stimulate feelings, imagination, humor, and a sense of identity as nothing else can. It can enliven, calm, focus, and engage. It can give us back ourselves when we feel broken inside. Music, Dr. Sacks says, is so much more than a beautiful luxury. It is a fundamental way of expressing our humanity, and it is often our best medicine. I recently shared with a group of congregants that when I am singing the Shema, just the Shema, by myself, to our congregation, I know that I am singing alone. But what happens when I do that is that all of a sudden I remember and I feel, I sense memory, what it feels like to stand on the bima of the sanctuary and hear on the High Holy Days 1,700 of you singing the Shema right along with me. I know that that's not happening in my laundry room, but I feel like it is. Many of you in the congregation have had the pleasure of meeting my parents. They come a lot to Colorado. They're probably watching right now, so hi, Mom and Dad. And you know that they love singing. But many of you might not know that about 15 years ago, a little over 15 years ago, actually this month, my mother had a stroke, a very large one. And in that stroke, it wiped out her entire language center. When she came to, she could not say a single word. She could say one sound. And we started to despair about how we were going to be able to understand her and connect with her and just know what was going on. And then Shabbat came. And while she was in the hospital, we brought candles, and I started to sing the candle blessing. And she started to sing with me, with the words. Every word. And all of a sudden, we realized that that music found a place in her brain. And that music connected her to people. That music connected her to her community, to her identity, took her outside of her current physical condition. The music lightened and lifted her brain and reminded her that that moment, that this stroke, this moment of difficulty, this is not who she is or all that she is. The music brought her back and connected her. While she was alone inside of her head, the music connected her to other people. Music brings us together. When we are alone, when we feel alone, the music brings us back to one another. The Song of the Sea reminds us that when we are actually singing all together, we can simultaneously be singing alone. But let us also remember that the opposite is true. On this Shabbat Shirah, let us also remember that even when we are singing alone, emotionally, spiritually, we are actually singing together. Now on the Shabbat, as we have mentioned so beautifully throughout the evening, we are also remembering and celebrating the legacy of Debbie. I did not grow up in the Reform movement. And because I am a little generationally separated than some of my colleagues, I did not have the pleasure of learning and studying from Debbie quite as directly as others have. But I do remember that Debbie came to my congregation, my traditional congregation, my almost Orthodox congregation, to learn from my Cantor a little bit more about traditional Jewish music. Now, she did not really know the service that we were doing, and she was there to learn and listen, but I remember watching her pray and watching her feel alone and together. She clearly was connecting to what was going on, even though she knew that she was not part of our congregation at that moment. As we have mentioned, Debbie spent a lot of time feeling both radically included and painfully alone. She was not always welcomed in the field of Jewish music, but she made herself known in the field of Jewish music, and she changed that field forever. So much so that the Cantorial program at Hebrew Union College is now the Debbie Friedman School of Sacred Music. So Debbie wrote this one piece called You Are the One, which is a setting of a prayer by Nachman of Brodsky. And in this piece, Debbie and Nachman of Brodsky express in music and in words and in a moment of talking to God, this tension around being alone and yet wanting to feel connected to others, to nature, to the world, and to God. You are the one, for this I pray, that I may have the strength to be alone, to see the world, to stand among the trees and all the living things, that I may stand alone and offer prayers and talk to you. You are the one to whom I do belong, and I'll sing my soul, I'll sing my soul to you, and give you all that's in my heart. May all the foliage of the field, all grasses, trees, and plants awaken at my coming, this I pray, and send their life into my words of prayer, so that my speech, my thoughts, and my prayers will all made whole, and through the spirit of all growing things. And we know that everything is one, because we know that everything is you. You are the one, for this I pray. I ask you, God, to hear my words that pour out from my heart. I stand before you, I like water, lift my hands to you in prayer, and grant me strength, and grant me strength to stand alone. You are the one to whom I do belong, and I'll sing my soul, I'll sing my soul to you, and give you all that's in my heart. You are the one, for this I pray, and I'll sing my soul to you. Shabbat Shalom.
We will move toward the conclusion of our service as we join together in singing Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol,
לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Now our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and every nation, whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. And as we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss of life and death. As we now recall the loved ones who've been taken from us in recent days and weeks, we remember Robert and Mary Hunter, Jardena Dunn Martinez, Chase and Jameson Martinez, Natalie Mosier, Robert Sherman, and Eleanor Wynn, who were taken from us this past week. We remember Eileen Goldstein, Jason Howe, Sandra Myers, Helena Rosenbaum Silvers, Riva Rosenblum, and Sheila Zemmel, who were taken from us in the previous 30 days. And we link to their names those whose yahrzeit, the anniversary of whose death, is remembered at this time: Ruth Abramson, Sarah Ampter, Fred C. Anfenger, Ellie Atlevak, Geza Balaj, Herman Band, Joseph M. Brenman, Ida Burke, Harry O. Cohn, Edna E. Connor, Ray S. Davis, Paula J. Erdman, Irving Fogel, Gertrude Frank, Zelda Frankel, Sally Freed, our beloved Deborah Lynn Friedman, Riva Furman, Norman A. Ginley, Roberta S. Ginley, Sarah Goldblatt, Arnold Bud Goldberg, A.J. Jack Harris, Alfred Held, Sarah Huss, Sophie Isaacson, Morris E. Katz, Philip Benjamin Kobe, Albert Kramish, Rose Landers, Norman Langfelder, Elkan Lehrberger, Tilly Lenoble, Pauline F. Levy, Philip Lewin, Earl M. Light, Lynn W. Littman, Henry D. Malik, Betty M. Miller, Ernest Morris, Charles A. Newman, Arthur Oberfelder, Esther Pasternak, Dora Pepper, Phil Perlmutter, Albert Rich, Maria Rojicki, Cyril M. Safer, Joseph E. Samuels, Clinton Z. Schwartz, Edgar G. Seaman, Seymour Sheldon, Grace Rose Sherman, Sophia Streer, Alice F. Stuhlbarg, Nat C. Tryphon, Norma Warren, Francis L. Weil, David Weinberg, Brandon Alexander Weinberger, and Rosabelle S. Weinman. We also remember 10 of the 420 precious souls from the community of Kolin who were murdered by the Nazis in World War II, as we this past week did commemorate International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And that community of Kolin is linked to our congregation through our Kolin Chapel and Sefer Torah. We remember Werner Gutmann, Arnost Halberstadt, Thomas Halberstadt, Anna Halberstadt Tova, Marketa Halberstadt Tova, František Hammerschlag, Ludwig Hammerschlag, A. Hammerschlagova, P. Hammerschlagova, and Emil Hex. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be for an eternal blessing, along with all those whose names were not on this list, but who you have said, who were posted in the chat. At this time, I ask, if you are still in the 30 days of mourning since the loss of a loved one, to please rise as you can, physically or spiritually. If you are still in the 11-month period of mourning since the loss of a loved one, we rise with you. And if you are observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of a death, rise as you can, physically, spiritually, And now we all, in our own way, rise. Our souls are elevated as we remember them with the words of the mourners' Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash meraba. Ba'alma divrach hir'ute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uv'izman kariv. V'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kud shabrichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. And may the source of peace, who makes peace in places far beyond our knowing, send peace and comfort to all who are bereaved here among us, wherever they may be. And let us all say, Amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ve'imeru amen.
Well, this has been such a beautiful service and good news for all of you. Shabbat and this weekend are far from over, and we have lots more coming. So just a couple of announcements before we conclude. Tomorrow morning, the schedule is as it usually is, 9 o'clock Young Family Shabbat with Steve and I assume Jill, and maybe some of Ben and Ari's embarrassing stuffed animals, which is my favorite part of Young Family Shabbat with Steve and Jill. 10 o'clock Torah study with me. And if you want to join on Zoom, you can still register and on Wufu and get the link, or you can watch on Facebook. 11 o'clock community service with all of us. All four of us will be there for Shabbat Shirah. At 9 o'clock also, we will be celebrating Zach Kamensky becoming a bar mitzvah. So all of the first half of the things that I said, Young Family Shabbat, Torah study, community service, all happening on channel 1 of our website or on our main Facebook page. Zach's bar mitzvah will be happening on the B'nai Mitzvah Facebook page or channel 2 of our website. And then tomorrow evening, 7 p.m., you've heard a lot about it, Together We Rise. Be there. Don't miss it. You don't want to be that guy. So we can't wait to celebrate with you. It is such a joy and a privilege to have an evening to just be with each other and celebrate and sing and think about what is yet to be and what is coming for all of us. We've spent so much time doing so many other things this year. And so I can't wait to spend this time with you singing and celebrating and appreciating each and every one of you that has been with us through the last almost year. Good Lord. A couple of other things that are happening. By the way, in case you were wondering, we will do Havdalah as a part of Together We Rise. So we will begin with Havdalah for that. Otherwise, Clergy Learning with Rabbi Black is still going. Our clergy team spiritual check-in every Thursday. All of this stuff is in the e-notes, so check it out. If you are interested in small groups, those are going. Own Your Power during the pandemic and beyond with the great Ariella Halevi is beginning February 2nd. Don't miss that. I think that's it for now because, you know, we've got so much more celebrating to do this Shabbat. So those are announcements. Check the website, Facebook, and the e-notes for anything else.
so, not only in Judaism do we celebrate Shabbat with song, but also with food and wine. So now let's bless Shabbat over wine. Grab your Kiddush cup and let's go bless together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila le'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tzion mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon inchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. And now for the challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. God, we give thanks for the gift of song, for the gift of melody and harmony, for the gift of voices quilted together in chorus, lifting praises toward something. Hear this prayer for those who chant in your name, who chant for healing, who chant to witness your love, your power, and your grace. Make their voices your vessel. Let heaven pour joy through them so that they overflow with your light, drawing others to your glory. So that when we hear their song, our hearts turn back to you in peace. Together, we offer our prayer back to heaven and rejoice.
One of the foundational principles of Reform Judaism is taking ancient words, ancient ideas, and making them relevant for a modern society. And Debbie was a master at that, at taking words of blessing, words of prayer, and making them resonate with us in our own language that we can really understand and really feel. We will close tonight with a song called Tefillat Haderech, which literally means a prayer for the road or a prayer for your way. And it's based in a traditional blessing that one says as they are embarking on a journey, asking for blessing, for peace and grace and comfort and guidance. And as we all move back into our lives, we ask for all of those things. And we join in a big amen at the end. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love.
compassion find their way to every soul. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen. Amen. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing.
Eloheinu ve'Elohe kol dorotenu. On this Shabbat Shirah, this Shabbat of song, when we remember our ancient journey of liberation, when we crossed a sea that seemed not to be welcoming, but got to the other side and noticed that everything was different and the task lay spread before us, we give thanks for opportunities to reinvent ourselves, for opportunities to celebrate you. We remember a sweet singer of Israel, Deborah Lynn Friedman, how she changed so many lives. And we give thanks for this Kihila Kedosha, this holy congregation that allows us, even in times of difficulty, even when we're all in separate places, to sing together in our hearts and our souls, to be moved by beautiful teaching, to be moved by beautiful words and music. Oh God, we ask your blessing on this weekend of celebration. Bruchim hayinu bevoenu, bruchim nihiyeh b'tzeitenu. Blessed were we as we came here. Blessed may we be as we go forth. And let us say, Amen. We'll see you for the rest of the weekend. Shabbat Shalom.